Hello everyone, this is Daniel right here, and it's weekend, so I'm gonna try to tell you what we did in terms of development within our indie game Kingsblood throughout the last week. And first of all, let me start out by saying maybe if you follow these development vlogs, for the last couple of weeks we had a really big focus on new combat mechanics and fishing out individual special attacks for our followers, for our playable characters, and of course finding new characters, finding followers, and bringing them to combat is an important aspect of our game. But it is not the only aspect of our game. This week I wanted to talk more about the overworld, because in that regard we did not show that many updates recently. Start out with the quest markers. Maybe you remember that when we entered a city right here, then we could select a quest, and then there spawned a little quest marker on the world map. And if you ask me, this quest marker did not look too great, to be honest. It looked very comic-y and not fitting to the world. Now, if you ask me now, and just let me press this turn button you see right here behind of me, if you ask me now, it looks much cooler, you see? So here a couple of quests spawned, and these quests spawn randomly, right? So basically our cities are comparable to NPCs, and from turn to turn, if you press the turn button, a quest might spawn within a city, or like in that regard, no quests spawned at all. Oh, there in the north there are some quests. Okay, so this is the first difference, that now the quest icon does not appear at the location where we have to go later on, but at the location where you first of all receive the quest. So I think this is a lot more intuitive and more comparable to games, and it's easier for gamers to know what's actually up. Alright, but that's not the only thing which changed, because now the location where you go is not the quest icon like before, but it is a cross, like on a treasure map, for instance. Alright, so let's send one of our characters, Serena, for instance. She does not have a portrait yet, but doesn't matter. And now here you see the next thing which we renewed is that now within this city, you know that you cannot get new quests right here at the moment, because you've accepted the quest. So now here we have this question mark. I think just from a logic point and from being more intuitive, it also looks kind of good. And before I was really unhappy about the visuals. Now I think it really looks kind of okay. Alright, now let's select a second group, and we will send them right here. And I would say I take this woman right here. She's also a new follower. And this is not the only thing which we changed. Just let me add that we are planning something. You see right here, this log right here is static. It does not have any meaning right now. It does not look that great at the moment. But our idea is actually that you won't get, when you start the game, here is your home base, right? And maybe in that radius right here you will receive quests. So if you turn your turn timer, you won't get these quests right here. So hovering over these cities, there will be most probably a lock symbol. And to get access to the quests within this city and to be able to trade with the city and basically interact with the city, you have to unlock the cities to get rid of this lock right here. And you have to send a spokesman basically. And this most probably will cost gold. And the idea is just that you won't have everything available just from the get-go, but you have to play it free. And this also makes sense, because you start out with probably like 6 to 7 followers, and you can form like 1 or a maximum of 2 groups, and you don't need that many quests. But later on, when you have like 30 followers, you will need access to a lot more cities, because you want to get more quests. That's not all we did last week, because maybe you remember that when we sent our followers to quests, they were just sliding over the world map. And even though I think the light does not look that great yet, and maybe also the circle needs a little bit of adjustment, we now implemented a simple walk animation. You see right here. And later on we will exchange this simple walk animation by actually the walk animation which corresponds to the character. Because for instance in that case this is Meliha, and she now had just our standard walk animation, but in combat she actually has her own walk animation which looks a bit more like a catwalk. But I think it already looks a lot better than just sliding the character over the world map. And something you might have realized, which also changed, and I think this is really an awesome change, is sequential movement. Because before, two characters would have just moved at the same time. And this does not only look bad and can also lead to problems. For instance, if you have a character, a group right here, and you have a group right here, right, and they move at the same time, then maybe you lose track of where they are, what they are doing. And right now with the sequential movement, when you press the turn button, the first group will move, the camera will pan on the character, and then the second character will move, and the camera will pan on him. And also like the interactions, for instance, with quests will play in a sequential manner, right? So for instance, I hope everything works right now. If not, we will fix it. But what should now happen when I press the turn button? This guy right here should walk here, the combat should occur, and then sequentially this fight right here should occur after that first one. So it's not all in parallel, but it's sequential. Alright, let's try this out. I press the turn button, and you see only this character is moving. The camera did also move with her. And aside from that I can demonstrate you this, I can also demonstrate you a new character. So this is Serena. She's an elfen front fighter, and she got quite a cool skill. So ignore the rotation of the stun effect, so this has to be fixed still. But what she's doing, she's basically charging up. She gets light energy from the sun, wherever, and she shoots it in a straight line, and everyone who is in the straight line will get stunned. Yeah, the problem about that is that if we do it like that, this combat will take forever, so I deactivate her special attack. That's what we presented, I think, in the last two development vlogs, that you see right here, we can either left click when her focus bar is full, or we can push it on autocast. But then, of course, she does not do that much damage because her sunbeam does not do a lot of damage. And yeah, there are also some glitches. But let's jump to the end of the combat. Alright, that took longer than I was expecting. But now you see in sequential order, now we have the second combat. And this is also a new character. She's called Meliha. And let's start the combat right now. And yeah, as you can see, she's doing like hand-to-hand combat, some kicks. And when she is full power, then she will transform into a spider. So she's a shapeshifter. So we utilize the shapeshifting mechanic, which we presented, I think, like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But I'm kind of afraid that she might not survive that combat because the wolves are just too strong. Doesn't matter too much. But well, at least she got one wolf. But I can show you something at the end of the combat as well. Something which is really cool and changed. Alright. Alright. Okay, the wolves made fast business of her. And so maybe you already saw it, or maybe not. But I hope I say it right, else my two friends will kill me. But what you see right here, this moving bar right here, I think it is called tweening, and you can create a function where you can define the speed and how fast the bar fills. But this is also new, and I think it looks kind of cool. So this is just a little detail, but as you can see, this week we just tried to add a lot of smaller details to improve the visuals. And let me rephrase it once more, that I think we're just at the beginning in terms of polishing all these little details, but I think it looks kind of cool. All right. All right, and what we actually want to do is that this way back to the base. Right now, the sequential movement also works for this, but we actually thought that maybe after your combat, you should be automatically back in your base. And for instance, Melia, because she lost the fight, she should actually be injured after the fight. So you wouldn't be able to send her to combat, or if we allow it, then she would get really big maluses. Alright, I think these are the major updates in regards to the overworld. I really like the visuals, looks really fitting to what we have so far. But maybe I want to take a moment and show you where we are with creating our characters. You just saw Serena and Melia, and I think that we unfortunately still have a lot of work to do. So these are basically the characters which we plan, and I said it a couple of times that I hope that we can finish this stuff until the end of the year. The basic characters, the first batch of about 40 characters. These rows give you information about, do we already have a portrait? Are the animations fixed? Is the special attack done? Did we basically bring in all the sounds which we want to have? And the sounds characters, we are missing sounds. So we have a couple of sounds, but also I think because we don't have the voices of the characters yet, this row most of the time will be empty until really to the end. Do the characters have a story text yet? Because later on you will see it. We also work on a UI where you can inspect the character, and you will of course have a story text. The same for the special attack. There will be a description. There will also be a skill image. I cannot tell you too much about that, but that will also be very cool. And then just that we apply the synergies and stuff like that. And if you look at that, that's what we got so far. I would say we have about 1/4 to 1/3 is done, but still a lot more to do. That having said, I think that is our current status. Still tons of work to do, but really happy what we accomplished within this week. And yeah, hope you liked it. And if you liked it, subscribe and tune in next week again. So see you soon.